All right, and welcome back to License-a-thon. We got Garfield caught in the act by Janglestorm. Take it away.
All right, thank you so much, Izzy. And hello, everybody at License-a-thon. Good to be here, and looking forward to showing off a game that I actually have been running a couple of times over the years, really. It's been a while, though, since I last ran it, so I thought it was overdue. And not only that, after this run, I'll also be doing a bonus run, which got made thanks to your very kind of generous donations. Thanks again for that. I'm looking forward to giving the Lost Levels its marathon debut as well. So yeah, enough to look forward to. You'll be seeing more of that. But first off, yeah, let's just check out the main game. It's a good one. Let me just reset. So I'm actually doing that because there's a thing in the beginning where it skips a certain little scene of sorts, and that's not allowed for the speedrun, so just a reset there. Alright, time is starting as soon as I select a new game, so that's gonna be in 3, 2, 1, go. Right, and thank you for the GL. So this is Garfield stuck in a TV set. That's as you can see in the intro, if you would normally see that, Garfield is watching TV and then gets zapped into the TV because the TV broke down and the spare parts basically formed this creature called Glitch, and we have to defeat that creature at some point whilst we navigate these movie-themed levels. So let's start off with this Dracula-themed level, Count Slobula, very stylish theme. A little bit of a warning, by the way. There's some flashing warnings, so if you're photosensitive, be sure to keep that in mind. I'll make sure to point out a couple of other instances as well. So we basically have to enter these tombs and then get this platform to raise so we can get out again. Here I'm gonna try a thing, hopefully. Nice. So that's a tomb skip you can do. It is fairly precise, but you can set it up in a way that you can launch yourself out of there, and you don't even have to pull both of the tongues, because that's what you're normally supposed to do. So I'm actually really glad to get that. So it's nice to show that off. So that makes quick work of that. We're gonna just proceed along. So we have two attacks here. One is for close range attack, and one is for further away, these projectiles. In this case, I got these skulls that I can throw at enemies, and they both do the same amount of damage. So, just kind of handily makes you navigate through the level. Yeah, the life icon. Yeah, the animations are good for sure. So we're on to the first boss already. Count Slobula here. We have to... We want to take out this bat, I guess, to make it easier, but mostly we have to basically get Count Slobula in the coffin, and then here's the kicker: we have to actually jump up and open the blinds in order to let the light in, because that's Dracula and light and everything. When I was first playing this casually, that was in a blind race like years ago, and both me and my opponent had no idea what to do for the longest time, because it wasn't directly visually obvious to us what we had to do. So at some point that became obvious, but it took a while, and then was like, oh, of course you're gonna let the light in. I mean, why wouldn't you? Yeah, I guess there's something Ghosts and Goblins about it, yeah. Funnily enough, that's the only Ghosts and Goblins, the Genesis version is the only version that I've beaten so far. Okay, back to this. We got commercial breaks where we have to defeat these Pookies. But we're not gonna do too many of that. We're not gonna collect too many of those. Because we will be able to get extra lives, but we don't need those. But we will be focusing on getting the cups, because those will speed us up, and for speedrun it's pretty handy. So in between levels you have this little overworld. It's fairly linear, but it's a pretty cool design, so, nice change of pace. Okay, on to Pirate Team level, Revenge of Orangebeard. More strats coming up, because I'm gonna be getting off board here, and I'm gonna be going through the water. And I'm basically gonna try and stay alive, because if I would have stayed on the boat, I would have gone through this slower, so this ultimately speeds things up, especially if I stay alive through all of this. But there's some health management involved, so I've got to make sure to, carefully do this. Okay, this seems good at least. This is also the one part where my health is about to be fully drained, and then I barely get to that one burger just in time, so I can just refill my health. Still need to grab this though. Okay. Should be good for now. Oh, I'm still pretty low on health. Okay, at least I made it over here. Gonna grab this. This is the second part, as I usually call it. This is not too complicated, at least. It's fairly short. But the first and especially the third ones, those are the tricky parts. I'm not sure if I'm gonna make this, but I'm gonna at least try and make it to the checkpoint. Because I don't have full health, so I can't quite get there all the way, but... See if I can make it over here. Okay, at least I made it to this checkpoint. Those Pookies are also checkpoints, so... Yeah, it's delightful. I feel like this is definitely one of the better looking Garfield games out there, at least. It's got its history of having a whole list of pre-janky, sometimes downright awful games, but I would feel this is one of the better ones, if anything. And yeah, the sprite work is actually done by none other than Jim Davis and his team at PAW, so it does get an official stamp of approval there as well. So, in case you're wondering, how does this look so good? Well, that's basically why. Alright, into the jungle we go. This is where we may encounter some issues with us falling down if we get hit by enemies. Gravity is a thing here. We're gonna climb these vines, we're gonna skip a couple of sections here. You can hang from the sides of those and then jump onto the next branch and make a bit quicker work of that. This first one is actually fairly lenient in its window. The next one coming up is much tighter. I'm gonna try it though. If I get it quickly enough, it will still save time. So let's see. I almost fell down. Let's see once more. Okay, there we go. I have to basically grab the outer part of that vine, so it is a bit precise, but if you get it quickly enough, it will skip some of the platforming that you have to do around it. Right. Hang down. Right onto the plant. No big deal. Getting over here. Thankfully there's these platforms, so I don't necessarily have to... Oh, one thing I forgot to point out. If I do that slashing thing whilst I jump, I do cancel the damage animation. That was what I was doing earlier as well. Okay, next boss fight. Another flashing warning for those who are photosensitive. Be sure to look away for a bit. Gotta do 8 hits in total, so let's see, I'm getting close. Meanwhile, the bats are having a field day as well, but there we go. And grab the remote onto the next commercial break. Count sloppy. Yeah, it almost sounds like that. No, it's with a B. It's with a B. Oh, for those wondering if the bitrate is alright, no, don't worry, it's not on your end. It's very much this game because there's a lot of static on screen, and it does basically cause the bitrate to be absolutely destroyed. That's just how it goes, really. Even in the overworld sections, it tends to be true to some extent. Alright. On to level 3. And we're going way, way back in time. How far back? Well, let's just say the era of the cave cats, 3000 BC, 3 million BC, sorry. I added a couple more zeros. This is actually, if you play the PC version, because it's gotten released on multiple systems, if you play the PC version, this is actually the first level that you will get. But for some reason, in that version, the level order got reshuffled. I'm not sure why, but... Here it is, the third level at least. There you go. Riding the pufferfish all the way up to this platform. Yeah, now we got teeth. Can also have more teeth, right? That's a pretty cool thing. Every level has its own distinct Garfield character design, like a little slight touch that just makes it stand out, which is pretty cool. So this is a very cheesy level, I guess. Lots of cheese strings, and you got these rocks with this cheese waterfall, and we're basically trying to climb up here if you check the test, there's like a jump you can do on the left side, which is super precise. I've been able to do it at some point, RTA. I have a video of it on my YouTube, but it is super tight. It's not what I would say RTA viable by any means, but it's a fascinating one. Oh, by the way, these extra lives, just as these hammers, I'm not going to grab those because those will lead to bonus games, and those cost extra time, and, well, you don't want that. Every game should have its own Garfield. Honestly, yeah. I agree, kind of. Right, jumping on these branches. There's these clouds that are trying to hover above our heads, but we're like, nope, we're not doing that. We have to meet the next boss. This is Dinosaur Odie, as I usually shorten it to Dino Odie, where we have to push rocks onto this seesaw, and we have to launch them towards the boss. And the rocks drop in random spots, so you hope for that to be a good pattern, sort of. I'm not actually sure how to manipulate that RNG, so I just basically hope for them to drop in a favorable spot that I don't have to push them too far, and I can make certain cycles. There we go. I've had it at some point that the seesaw will break, and that would be a thing. That's always fun. Okay, this is where I have to wait a little bit, so just gonna do that. I actually got hit, and then I basically stumbled upon, you know what. One more. Okay, there we go. So, one thing I totally forgot to point out is that there was a chance of the game soft locking at this point. So, if it happened that Dino Odie would jump off screen, the game would soft lock and I would have to retry the level with a password. So, I actually avoided that. I totally didn't point it out, but I guess, you know, me not pointing that out was the key to it succeeding or something. But there we go. There's another level done. I guess it wasn't... The RNG wasn't too bad. It could have been better still because I still missed an earlier launch, but otherwise it's fine. Right, onto film noir territory. Casablanca. You know it from the hat, obviously. Very fancy hat. And the whole level is basically in, you know, film noir style, aside from some of the sprites. It's sort of like, well, it's not really a maze. It's fairly easy to figure out where to go, but yeah, as soon as you know, it's a pretty quick one at least. And then you have to get on here. There's these jerk birds that can hit you whilst you are midair, and they can make you drop all the way down. You have to redo this again, but this is basically what you want. Tips hat, etc. Okay, onto the boss. This is gonna be interesting. See what we get. Ooh, okay, that's a good first one. So we want to pick up certain bombs, namely the ones with the colored fuses. And normally I have to do 8 hits, but if I do this, stand on the right side whilst attacking, I only have to do half of the hits. I really have no idea why that works that way, but it's really cool, and it only works on the Genesis version. You know, that's totally Inspector Gadget's hat. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, there's actually some RNG to it, because there's a chance that you might get one of the bombs with colored fuses later, and that means that you would only get 3 bombs during one cycle, and that would not be enough to defeat that boss quicker, so you'd have to wait another round. That's actually, if you look at my current PB, which is also the world record, you do actually see that happening there. That's where I still lost some pretty easy time, I guess. Okay, so there's 6 levels in total. This is level 5. We're going into Egyptian territory with the Curse of Cleopatra, and Garfield is sporting this fabulous little handband of sorts. Very nice. The platforming section of this is fairly short. The boss level itself is fairly elaborate, but it should be good though. First gotta push very hard. Garfield's getting a lot of activity here. More so than usual, you know? And oh, oops, okay. I'm gonna let it spin once more. That's fine. I could fit through there, but I somehow missed that opening. It's a little bit tighter if you try that first time around. Jumping over these to avoid the crushers, and then jump over this, and then onto this right here. There's some of these plates that actually spawn like spikes, and that could hurt you. So grabbing that for invincibility. So no, in the commercial breaks, they'll speed you up. In the levels themselves, they make you invincible for a little bit. Okay, so this is the fight with this Sphinx, I guess, where we have to do a lot of things before we actually get to that. But there's some really cool speed tag to it, where I'm basically trying to get a certain paw platform elevator cycle of sorts, where I can instantly jump over to the right side. So I'm hoping to get that really. Dealing with those flies, that's fine though. Alright, and there we go. Gonna jump up here. Hopefully that's not too late, because there's a lot of those... Oh, okay, whoops. Okay, I missed that. That's too bad. I'm gonna try again, but it basically made me miss the earlier cycle. Flashing warning, by the way. Gonna hit this 5 times, so it's gonna be a bit bright for a little bit. So normally the paw would have been way up higher, and I would have been able to jump over to that platform, which would have been ideal, but now I have to wait a little bit longer. If you get that though, it could save up to like, I think it was like 12 to 14 seconds, I believe. But yeah, at least I didn't have to wait forever, so that's good. So there's actually a difference in the jump heights. So if I would jump straight up without moving sideways, I would actually jump higher than if I would jump holding a direction. And now for the last part, it was John all along. I'm sorry, John. We have to attack your eyes. 10 hits, and then it's time to hit the snake on top. Also 10 hits. I can just stand here, really. I can pretty much deal with all the incoming projectiles that way. Like that. And now I have to wait like roughly 18 seconds before the remote appears, so I'm just gonna dance around for a little bit. So yeah, as you can see, a lot of work went into the boss fight, really. The level itself is otherwise fairly short. Which I guess is a common theme with this game, but yeah. Right, it's time for one more commercial break. So I could basically sing along with this. Fine-tune. Bitrate killer. Bitrate killer. Something like that. I don't know. At some point, I, you know, knowing that it would literally murder bit rates, I figured I'd improvise some lyrics around it. So there you go. All right, one more overworld section, and then it's time to fight the creature that got us here in the first place, Glitch, which is the TV spare parts enemy, and we're gonna be seeing some shenanigans here in this season finale. And suddenly we have this boss design that's completely different from all of the other sprites in the game. I guess because it's more like technology based or something. I don't know. It's definitely a standout of sorts. So the main idea is this boss is firing off these fireballs, and I have to basically send them back by flipping these panels, because those reflect them apparently. And they got the panels on both the left and the right side, and we want to make sure that, at least I'm trying to make sure that I'm hitting both of them, flipping both of them, so I can make them hit as soon as possible, really. Eventually, if I flip one of them, there's a good chance it will return eventually, but it would take longer, so this is basically just to speed things up a little bit. There's still a lot that could go wrong here, where you would fall down because you get hit, or a certain hitbox, you know, you try and grab something and it didn't work out or something. You do take a lot of damage here and there. You constantly take damage in this game, but there's a lot of pickups as well. Which is funny, because for some reason there's no lasagna in this game. There's literally everything else, burgers and pizza, you name it, but there's no lasagna somehow. It's a Garfield game. Like. Anyway, this is the last round, and now I just have to wait really. For some reason, this boss is speeding up even more, just sending all kinds of projectiles, but I'm just hanging out here safely. And there we go. And time for attack is gonna be as soon as the screen is faded to black after grabbing the last remote, so get ready for that. Yeah, it's 3DO. Okay, and time. And there we go. The outro. Garfield is back in his comfy seat. Nice touch. We went on an adventure. Garfield had more work out than usual, and as a reward, he gets to sit back in his chair again. So, how about that? Yeah. So, what was my time actually on this?
Your time, it looks like, was 1916.
Wow, that's actually, I think that's my best marathon time so far, actually. Because I have been getting my fair share of 19s, but it's also nice to get it in a marathon. That doesn't always happen. It really depends on how things go, but yeah. My current...
That's amazing to hear.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the current world record is an 1850. So I've been working towards the sub 19 for a while. At some point, maybe I'll lower it eventually. There's still some time saves I'd like to get, but yeah, it's this for a marathon at least is I'm very pleased with. That's for sure. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that. I think it's time for the bonus game, The Lost Level.